My grandfather left me his $3.5 million estate. Then my parents, who cut me off at 18, arrived at the will reading smiling. Naturally, we'll handle it for you. My name is Oliver, and I'm 27 years old. If you told me a decade ago that I'd inherit my grandfather's entire $3.5 million estate, I would have laughed in your face. Back then, simply making it through the week felt like a victory, let alone imagining a future where I'd sit in a lawyer's office, my estranged parents eyeing me like vultures circling prey. The bitter irony is these are the same parents who at 18 cut me off, tossed me out with just a backpack, and declared I was no longer their problem. Yet, here they were, suddenly materializing at the will reading as if a decade of abandonment had never happened. Growing up, my family life was complicated. My mom and dad weren't poor. We lived in a pleasant suburban home. Dad was a regional manager for a logistics firm, and mom, a part-time teacher, acted like she presided over the entire neighborhood. But they harbored a critical flaw. Appearances were everything. My older sister Claire was their golden child. An A student, cheerleader, perpetually trouble-free. She was flawless in their eyes. I, however, was branded the disappointment. I wasn't truly rebellious. I simply didn't conform. I preferred art to football, books to cars, and possessed a stubborn streak that compelled me to question what they expected me to accept without challenge. To them, this was unforgivable. The real fractures began to appear in my teenage years. Money became a weapon. Claire received a brand new car for her 17th birthday, while I was told to be grateful for hand-me-downs. Her college tuition was fully covered. Mine, I was informed, was my own responsibility. When I dared to ask for equality, I was met with lectures about being a man and earning my place. My mom would roll her eyes saying things like, "Oliver, you've always been too sensitive. You expect the world to just hand you things." My dad would mumble about how I'd never succeed without them. One dinner I'll never forget, my father leaned across the table, stared me dead in the eye and declared, "If you're still under our roof by 18, you're a failure." I laughed then, what else could I do? But inside I was shattered. On my 18th birthday, they didn't just kick me out. They orchestrated it like a theatrical performance. They sat me down, announced they were cutting me off financially and said, "It's time for you to learn the value of hard work." They offered no money, no support, not even a safety net. I walked out with a backpack, 2 changes of clothes, and a part-time job that barely covered groceries. That night, I slept in my car's back seat. Meanwhile, Claire posted Instagram photos from her sorority house, beaming with a shiny new MacBook and a credit card from Dad. The only person who didn't abandon me was my grandfather, my father's dad. He was always different. Where my parents saw weakness, he saw potential. Where they mocked my quiet nature, he'd say, "Oliver, that's because you think before you speak." He didn't care that I wasn't the athlete or the golden child. He saw me for who I was. He'd invite me over for weekends, feed me, and let me crash on his couch when things were rough. I never fully explained what my parents had done, but he wasn't oblivious. He sensed the tension, noticed how I flinched at the mention of my dad's name. Over the years, he became more of a father to me than my actual dad ever was. Nearly a decade passed. I carved out a modest life far from glamorous. I worked long hours, saved diligently, and kept my family at a distance. Claire occasionally sent smug texts detailing her lavish vacations or new